Hello, guys. How are you?
I,
Hi.
Good. Thank you so much for your time. You guys are homeless in a car.
yes.
Is this the first time you guys are on the streets?
Yes.
It's the first time we're on the streets with three
Like
dogs.
We're often accused of putting out anti-dog propaganda, as if the world wasn't already full of puke-making pro-dog propaganda that desperately needs to be countered. But the truth is, we don't have to work very hard to discredit dog culture. All we really have to do is present footage of dogs being dogs, or of nutters being nutters. The following video is a prime example of this.
Hello, guys. How are you?
I,
Hi.
Good. Thank you so much for your time. You guys are homeless in a car.
yes.
Is this the first time you guys are on the streets?
Yes.
It's the first time we're on the streets with three
Like
dogs. Pretty much.
So it was like an eviction scenario.
Yeah.
So, this is a video about two people living in a car with three pit bulls. What's crazy about it is that it's about two people living in a car with three fucking pit bulls. While living in a vehicle isn't a choice they made, living in a vehicle with dogs is. And I am not exaggerating. They really do have three of these things in there with them.
Okay.
This is Blues Clues. This is Ringo Starr, and that's Kona Bologna.
As longtime viewers will know, I usually edit out the names of dogs in my videos, but I wanted you to understand that the only thing more ridiculous than this situation is the names they've given these dogs, particularly that last one. Just imagine one of these two nutters shouting that name out in futility as that dog is mauling them. Now, earlier I said that this is a video about two people living in a car with three dogs, and it should be a feature on how deranged that is. But if you watch the full video, it's obvious that it's actually just supposed to be about their eviction and the fact that they're living in a car. Them having dogs isn't important or meaningful to anyone who's actually just interested in situations where individuals find themselves living in their vehicles, either because of limited access to resources for some or living costs escalating dramatically, coupled with a socio-economic paradigm that prioritizes profit over social welfare. Basically, we're talking about things like homelessness, which affects people, but instead, this turned into some bullshit about how pit bulls are supposedly awesome, and instead we have this freak show, and I refer to them as gamblers, because they are gambling with their very lives every second they're in that car with not one or two, but three freaking pit bulls. As it is, unconventional living arrangements can pose significant difficulties that render such a lifestyle impractical and potentially harmful. Living in a car with one small pet would present a number of challenges that significantly impact both the human and animal occupants. To name but two, there are space constraints, and then there are the logistics of basic care and personal hygiene, both of which will be neglected, and that would be bad enough. But these aren't just any pets, and it's not like they have one cat or a small dog in their car, which, again, would be crazy enough on its own. No, they have three pit bulls in there. I wouldn't be in close quarters with one pit bull if I were offered $1 billion or commanded to do so at gunpoint. And these nasty nutters are willingly choosing to reside in such limited quarters with multiple massive beasts. Because these are pretty sizable dogs, especially considering the fact that they're all crammed into a car. It's not even a large van, which still wouldn't be enough to permit even one dog, or a much smaller pet, such as a cat or a rabbit, to move around freely, engage in physical activity, and maintain its own well-being. So, there's a lack of consideration for the health of the dogs that's just sort of overlooked here, on top of everything else. And there are the legal implications of living in a car with pets to consider as well. Many local ordinances prohibit sleeping in cars or have specific regulations regarding pet ownership that could lead to fines or confiscation by animal control agencies. One thing that jumped out at me as I watched this is the way this woman keeps rubbing all over one of these mutants. And I am not the only one who noticed this. But let's go back to hygiene. Putting aside the obvious danger of them getting attacked at any moment under these ridiculous circumstances, and how absolutely awful the smell in that car must be, there's also this. As I watch this, I can't help but think about how frequently they're physically interacting with these dogs, petting them, rubbing on them, accidentally bumping into them, pushing them away at times, and not to mention how these dogs will lick them inside their mouths in their sleep, and all sorts of nasty shit. Personally, I would never be in a situation like this, which goes without saying. But if I were in their shoes, I would constantly feel the need to wash my hands. I get that they like dogs or whatever, but they should still have an instinct to clean themselves immediately after handling some foreign mammal, particularly a smelly, slobbering, nasty dog whose skin is probably very greasy and just generally disgusting. But, living in a vehicle, they clearly don't have a hand-washing station or access to a bathroom with a shower in it. They probably don't even have so much as a small sanitizer bottle in there. So they are going to be handling those beasts, and then subsequently touching their faces and eating meals. I cannot fathom something so barbaric and unsanitary. This brief part is from the very beginning of the interview.
It's hard to work our schedules together with owning 3 dogs in a broke down car.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But we're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, the dogs will protect you though, because I've been homeless in a car before, and it's really scary because you don't really get sleep because you're always wondering, like, you feel like you're stuck. And
I'm all the way back right now,
yeah,
so I sleep like this.
Well, the beautiful thing about it is, even though they're very wonderful dogs, because pits are just great, no one's gonna run up on us and rob us.
not with 3 freaking pit bulls in here.
I guarantee they won't. And
You would
that
have to
is
be
the saving grace.
No, I
But
think if you're in a car.
On that note, we're also the ones saving them, because the shelters are overrun. People are turning in their animals left and right, and I'd rather die than turn in my animals. But if it weren't for them, I wouldn't go on, and if it weren't for me, they wouldn't go on. So we're literally in it together.
Note the part where they're talking about how difficult it is to live with 3 dogs when your house is actually a car. I find it odd that the interviewer interjects with some weird attempt at a positive spin of this absurd situation. Basically, that whole protection dog excuse. And I really think the interviewer was generally referring to being vulnerable to outside threats while sleeping in a car when homeless. But the male dog nutter seemed to think the interviewer was literally talking about how difficult it is to sleep, physically speaking.
You feel like you're stuck, and
I'm all the way back right now,
yeah.
so I sleep like this.
Well, the beautiful thing.
In any case, I fail to see how the hell having a pit bull, or any dog, let alone 3, would help, particularly with regard to comfort and personal safety as well. Because, even though they assume these dogs would protect them from anyone wishing to harm them, they fail to consider that the dogs are just as dangerous to the owners they're always around, if not more so. After all, they have access to them at all times. And they're dangerous for the same reason the dogs are believed to have some deterrent value toward other people. After all, anything a dog could do to a robber, intruder, or assailant, they can just as well do to any other person they're around. But those earlier comments, they really make you wonder how anything about this entire arrangement is even feasible, in terms of comfort, space, safety, logistics, and everything, really. And maybe it's just me, but I personally get the sense that the male nutter here may be significantly less of a nutter than the female one he's living with. I suspect he would probably be a lot more content if those dogs weren't there. After all, the woman is the one constantly saying weird shit about how it's all about the dogs, and how supposedly great they are. She's also practically making out with it.
By the beach, they were trying to condemn all the trailers by the water.
Oh, condemned?
I'd rather die than turn in my animals. But if it weren't for them, I wouldn't go on.
So she contradicts herself like crazy by saying that they're wonderful dogs, while also bragging about how she thinks she can never get robbed with these 3 beasts in tow. Now, gee, I wonder why that could be. Could it possibly have anything to do with how obviously dangerous this specific dog breed is? A mystery for the ages, to be sure. Interestingly, despite the interviewer saying they have some advantage because their dogs are obviously incredibly hostile towards people who aren't regularly feeding them, although he didn't phrase it that way, there are a few different times where the female nutter says some insane shit about the dogs, and the interviewer's response is to completely ignore it and ask a question that's actually relevant and not related to some batshit dog nuttery. Here's an example.
Yeah.
We'll make it through somehow.
And we'll do it with our children, because that's another problem. Everyone will help someone with children.
Yeah.
Dogs, they're not children. Not to the state. Those are just expendable creatures. And not to us.
What makes you guys happy every day, like both of you?
These guys right
These
here.
guys.
Good Lord. The interviewer decided not to take that ridiculous bait or indulge her deranged delusion about how these things are her literal children. And what does the other nutter do? He brings it right back around to the stupid dogs. So on second thought, I don't know if he's much less of a nutter than she is. It's just obvious, however, that these dogs are going to be a constant source of annoyance, filth, and potential danger. Although they may not be cognizant of the potential hazard they're constantly around while they're in this car, it's clear that this space isn't enough to accommodate a man and a woman and 3 massive mauling machines.
Okay.
And the Kona Bologna's back here. But my girl.
Okay.
We've got 3 gorgeous animals who love us very, very much. And
Okay.
we love them. And that's why every day we wake up and everything we do is for them.
Okay.
This is Blue's Clues, this is Ringo Starr, and that's Kona Bologna.
So-
and they are the reason everything we do is why we do it.
Gotcha. Do you guys feel optimistic about being able to change your situation, or does it feel like right now everything's just coming down pretty bad?
Notice what happened there. She started raving about her bizarre and unhealthy obsession with these creatures, and he just said, "Gotcha," and then just moved on with the interview. Because it's not an interview about how obsessed they are with their stupid pit bulls. It's supposed to be about their general living situation, which unfortunately does include dogs in the picture, because some people are completely mental. And by the way, she doesn't truly care about the welfare of these dogs either. Either that, or she's incredibly ignorant. After all, the confined space of a vehicle significantly limits the living area for anyone trying to live within it. And a vehicle is not suitable for habitation for people or for animals either. Pit bulls are very energetic and require ample space to move freely. The stress of confinement can also lead to behavioral issues, including heightened aggression, which can certainly be exacerbated by the cramped quarters of a car. Again, these two lack basic amenities, such as running water or adequate sanitation facilities, making it difficult to care for both personal hygiene for themselves and that of the dogs. These two need to get their shit together, sans pit bulls. Of course, them having these dogs likely has a lot to do with their current living situation. I don't blame any landlord for not wanting a couple of tenants with 3 pit bulls. They need to get rid of those pit bulls. It will immediately improve their living conditions and will also help in the long run.
Still haven't found any signs of intelligent life. They tell us touch grass, but that's where the feces is, and they urine in almost every blade of it. They say we must have gotten big as kids, and the crazy thing is it would make sense to hate dogs for that reason. And they think this is funny, wish they were out of season. There's still no signs of intelligent life. They ask who hurt us, and the funny thing is they know that the answer is this: dogs and their enabling owners. They hold on to fables, these pathetic loners. Easily sold, all the fiction it's inane and wrote the way the last were proved to be insane when he wrote. Still no signs of intelligent life. No signs of intelligent life. No intelligent life. Yeah, that's right. You know the people, they used to go outside, and the children used to run around in the grass. When I was 13, I used to ride my bike. I can't imagine doing that today at that age. Oh no, 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 no. Still no signs of intelligent life. No signs of intelligent life. No intelligent life. Yeah, that's right. You know the people, they used to go outside, and the children used to run around in the grass. When I was 13, I used to ride my bike. I can't imagine doing that today at that age. Oh no, 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 no.